Yo! I know you're so used to seeing the flashing lights, take shots with much bravado. Don't you know you don't have to lay down your only life? I need you here tomorrow. Is martyrdom the only philosophy? I can set you free from all that seems to bind. Years ago, you threw the key into the darkest nights, then hit the light to follow. Who's it trying to conquer? Why fight the war? Why fight the war? Who's it you're really trying to conquer? Why fight the war?
Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Anukai Tree, and thank you for sitting with us. I'm your producer, Mick Sykes, and I'm here with your host,
Jip Jack on the attack. Brown.
And tonight's topic is love in the time of Corona. And basically what we're going to be doing tonight is talking about like our relationship during like this whole quarantine and like global pandemic thing, like how that's been working out for us. We're going to have a little relationship Q&A. We're also going to like during the key section, we're going to be talking about a little bit about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, and like we're a double airtime relationship, they're a double airtime relationship, and maybe like some theories as to why that didn't work out so well.
Cause girl,
if you're new to our page, remember to hit that like button and love this post and share it. So make sure people get it. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you know anytime we post a new video on our channel. And make sure you check us out on Anchor FM. That's our podcast website. So like you can check us out wherever podcasts are streaming. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, BeanPod, like all that. So make sure you check us out wherever podcasts are streaming. And follow us on IG. Like we have a really cool Instagram page, the Anukai Tree, where we post like fun stuff that's related to the show and stuff about us and updates about the show. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, the Anchor FM. Make sure you check that out. And like it's cute little sound effects. So you're watching us live, but make sure you listen to us too, because there's little like extra tidbits in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a really great show tonight. But first, as always, let's get into Give it all. I will take you higher. Our donation. But tonight we're not trying to get money for ourselves, but you can subscribe to us and support us on our Anchor FM website at anchor.fm/anukai/support if you want to subscribe and support this podcast financially. But we are helping one of our dear friends and like our brother help raise money for their top surgery. And that's something really important that he wants to do for the next phase of his life. So if you want to help out, help a friend, make sure you go to GoFundMe.com/help Iman get top surgery. And if that's a lot to remember, you can go to TinyURL. I made a tiny URL. So just go to tinyurl.com/Iman top surgery, and you can donate whatever you want.
Whatever you can.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
They're like halfway to their goal at this point. So any little extra that you can do. And again, that is TinyURL Iman top surgery. So like if you want to just donate to that GoFundMe. And yeah, thank y'all so much. This week's like so important.
That's
so
my twin, y'all.
Friend. Yeah.
It's my twin. So we got to do everything we can for him, all right? Because he does everything he can for us. He does everything he can for y'all. You have no clue how much money he be giving. People need it. He donates all the time. He donates his services all the time. So let's get Iman hooked up, please. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So let's get into the first topic for tonight's show. And this segment is called The Tea. Like, come on and sip with us for a minute And the tea tonight is us.
We're the tea.
We're the tea tonight.
Sip me.
Oh yeah. So also like we're gonna have our relationship Q&A toward the end. So like get your questions ready. We're gonna when the time comes, we're gonna pin the link in the Facebook chat so you guys can come and come in on the live and like chat with us if you have any questions, if you want to ask outside of the comments.
And we have a few questions that we gathered before that we're going to answer as well.
But yeah. Oh yeah, we got some great questions from people on Facebook. So yeah, like what has it been like spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with each other during the past like year or so? Like it's actually over a year now of this global pandemic. Like we're definitely like a couple that like went out a lot. Like we've been together 4 years. So like pre-quarantine, as you can see from these pictures, like we were always like going somewhere together. Like we like to spend time with each other. And then, you know, disease and pestilence had to come and fuck that up.
like we used to go out literally all the time. Like these 3 pictures are like, you know, some of the dopest stuff. Love the beach, right? I love the freaking beach. And Longhorn Steakhouse was really cool. But then we went freaking indoor skydiving, like that picture with the third guy, that's my friend Devin. Went indoor skydiving, took us for Christmas. It was ridiculous. But we had a little bit of like preparation for quarantine a couple months before it happened because I had just crowned into the Orisha traditions and I was like kind of quarantining anyway. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like couldn't go out anyway, you know? And it was like, yeah, like sure, Bae could go out if she wanted to. Like she wanted to go to the movies by herself, she could have, you know what I'm saying? She, you know, I mean, we haven't been to the club together, but if she felt like going to the club, then you know what I'm saying, then she could have went to the club, but I had to stay home. I wouldn't have cared really. I mean, it would have been whatever. I would have been had some FOMO, you know what I'm saying, but it would have been okay. You know, but I just couldn't go anywhere for a year anyway. So then, like in the middle, like almost smack dab in the middle, right? Because that happened in March. Yeah, in the smack dab in the damn middle of my Iyawo Rahe, which is the year that you're a Yawo, the year white. Quarantine hit us, and luckily we did go out as much as we did before all of that.
Had a little vacation like the summer, like prior to we went to like Miami and the Florida Keys.
Amazing vacation.
And then like, well, that was in like the that was like was that the summer before?
I feel like it was the same.
Was
summer.
That the year before?
I feel like it was the same summer as Yaborahi. Wasn't it?
Yeah, you got crowned when we came back.
Like, yeah, like a couple months after we came back.
Yeah, right.
So much fun. You don't think of Florida and be like, yeah, but it was amazing.
Florida is cute to visit,
right? I don't know staying. All the colonized people living in Florida, my heart goes out to you. Seriously, I understand the weather, but other than that, I'm just like, girl.
I can't even do the.
And Banjo's black. It's just so much madness. But other than that, yeah.
Between the KKK and the Cubans, y'all got your hands full.
Okay, for real. But you know, once quarantine hit, you know, we had our little moments where it was just like, you know, because I feel like the frustration in the beginning was just the realization that even after my year was up, we were gonna still be stuck in the house. You know what I'm saying? It was like, well, damn, like we was, you know what I'm saying? Like part of the deal was the excitement of being able to get the fuck out the house after the year is done. But now like everybody is quarantined. So like that's that, you know?
We also got engaged. We got engaged during your war, right? But true. Like we got engaged and then like Corona hit like immediately after. Like we got engaged in February and then into March, April.
Okay. It was ridiculous. But you know, we survived, we pushed through. The best thing that we did was just continuing to communicate, making sure that, you know, whatever alone time looked like, you know, each partner got their alone time with, you know, how much battle and fight. It's not like, you know, I like to be around Bae all the time for the most part. So, you know, I have my issues sometimes with a little bit of the alone time. So it's not like it didn't bring up some conflict, but we get through it. It's a conflict and then it's like, okay, like it's clear, like it's clearly necessary. So we just move on, you know?
Yeah, we didn't fight. Like we didn't have any like crazy like fights or like not to say that we don't fight or argue. That's not true. We get into heated debates often, mostly about my emotional unavailability and inability to listen sometimes. But it I feel like we did like couples therapy before, like early in our relationship, and and we like to spend time around each other in general. Like I would say we're homebodies, but we like to go out,
right?
just not like a lot
All the time.
And we like to go out with each other,
right? If we could go out and be as isolated as possible with whoever we want to be with in the moment, then we are our happiest. Literally, like out in the world, but not out of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not trying to be of y'all niggas, but we, among y'all is fine. you know? But other than that, it was just a lot of making sure that we stayed honest and earnest and just being like, yo, like this is what's going on with me right now. And this is how I feel you're handling that. And regardless, I feel like during quarantine, Mick Sykes has had to be more emotionally available and more vulnerable with how she's feeling in the moment, because it's like, if not, you might have thought that you weren't the build up kind of person when you could go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have thought you weren't this is going to build into that. Like, like how like the ability to release whatever just happens, like something can happen and then the next moment you could be like, like you're better at letting go than I am. But the buildup of what I call violations, which is not to like make it sound as violent as it is, yet let it be known how serious it is at the same time. But the buildup of like feeling like you're being violated or feeling like whatever is happening to you is not something that you can like leave the house and, take care of outside of the house in some way, whether it be decompressing by, drowning yourself in your work, or, having other people to talk to about any and everything else, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is that you use to decompress outside of the house is no longer available. So you have to deal with it, or something regrettable is going to happen. And that's just how it is. I don't think anybody's different in that. If regrettable can mean a million things,
David said, I fought with my damn self, let alone others. And letting go, what's that?
Look,
speaks in Cancerian.
Look, speaks in Waterholder, speaks in Aquarius. It's right here. It's all up in this gourd. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah. That's just my take in terms of just how, like, I've noticed Mick Sykes' growth in this relationship as quarantine, like, gave you this opportunity to, like, whether forced or whether you took it, you know what I'm saying? I can't say, you know what I'm saying? But I know being confined in these situations just makes it so you gotta deal.
Well, like I would still like go out, like I would go for my walks and like go exercise like outside, like in the park or whatever.
Right.
And exercise like in the house to like, keep some sort of routine and keep my mind clear.
But you didn't have them 5 a.m. to 5 p.m, almost 6 p.m. times without each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
Right.
Whereas like before quarantine, it was like, okay, you might have an issue that I don't necessarily know about. You know what I'm saying? And you might.
Oh no, yeah, I get what you're saying.
And you might like let that issue slide more because there's a whole day in which we just don't see each other. That we only talk to each other during lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
It definitely gets dealt with, like when you have no place else to go, and like this quarantine has definitely like tested some relationships. There's a lot of people that have gotten together during like this pandemic. A lot of those people that have gotten together during the pandemic are no longer together. People have had like whole children, like gotten married,
divorces.
Everything's
happening.
A lot of cheating has been.
How are y'all cheating in the pandemic? Explain to me how y'all are committing infidelity with a panorama 360 outside. How?
I don't know how people niggas be cheating on a regular. Like I've like got a full-time job, so I'm just like I don't have the energy to fucking cheat, even if I wanted to.
I don't have, and I don't have that ability to lie effectively. Like my life has to literally be in danger, and that has to be the only recourse for me to like lie well. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have the ability to lie effectively. It's like, look, I if I need some sex and I need it from whoever I need it from, that is something that is known. That's another thing. You got to just be honest, right? Half of y'all out here cheating because y'all feeling all kinds of ways about what's going on in your house now that y'all in quarantine, but you could have just said something about how you felt and probably had a nice little angry fuck session after that and not have cheated. You know, like, I don't know.
Tell that to Martell Holt.
Ooh.
But
this nigga's a whole episode, no key, no keeping it real.
We have a small Andreas wanted to know, how do you keep the imagination alive with being inside the house all the time? We entertain each other.
We're interesting ass niggas. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know. You take that one because you're like crafty and you have like a lot of good ideas for what to do.
Like, I mean, like, sexually, like, we always, like, you know, find, like, some way to have fun. So that, like, as far as, like, the intimacy and, like, our issue has been, like, the frequency. Like, this one wants to have sex, like, all the time. I'm, like, I'm good, like, once a week. So I've had to, like, build up to, like, be able to do more, especially during quarantine. But, like, as far as just, like, entertaining each other, we enjoy similar things. We took like this opportunity to like watch new stuff or like do things that we want to do together. While we didn't have the chance to, like, while we were working. Like, we moved into this apartment like, well, a year before Corona, but we actually like finished. This is like the first apartment. Like, we've lived in 3 apartments together, and this is the first one like we finished like decorating. But that was because we had the time like during quarantine. We also had like a stint in a revolutionary organization, which kept things interesting for quite some time. And that's what I'm going to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Really honed our organizational skills, our leadership skills. We didn't necessarily learn anything about the revolution in that time.
Let's keep it cute.
I'm just saying. I'm keeping it cute. I'm just saying, but nonetheless, like, what we did is learn kind of what each other is capable of, even though I feel like my leadership wasn't necessarily like zeroed in on as much as I zeroed in on her leadership. But at the end of the day, it was very clear that what I thought about what she was capable of was factual. You know what I'm saying? And not just this lofty ideal that I wasn't able to like witness outside of seeing it at work. Because at work is different. Like, you have a different motivation at work, you know?
True that. Make sure y'all like this post, y'all. Make sure y'all share this. Get some people in here. Get your friends in here. Love this post. The loves go a lot further. Like, if you don't know, yeah, I've spent all these times like doing all these little effects and stuff. Yeah, so make sure you love this post and share it. Get some people in here. Like, we join the conversation. There's going to be a chance at the end for you guys to talk to us and ask questions. So, like, if you have questions about our relationship or relationship advice in general, you can wait to the end and get us onto that.
Yeah.
We haven't had anything crazy though. Like, I haven't like wanted to like kill you during quarantine or anything like that. Like, I will say what's been difficult for me is that I get cabin fever, and like the way that I relieve that is like going for my walks in the park in the morning or like taking Bruna out for a long walk. Like, I can't be in like one place for too long or I start to get crazy. Like, even when I'm at work. And I'm a teacher, like, every once in a while, like, I was like, hey, like, call, like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Just to, like, this is why they want to smoke. Get out of the room for a second. See?
Just gotta time your pass, you know what I'm saying? It's a Harlem thing. It's all right. This is how we allow it.
Hey, Kiki.
Kiki! Yo, Kiki, I know I can't share it, but I can't wait. This video is coming out. Holy shit. Wait till y'all get into Kiki Hawkins. Wait till y'all get into the Kiki experience. It's not a game, okay? Get into the Kiki experience now. Just go follow her. Y'all saw her name pop up. Just go find her. Thank you.
If you're just joining us, we're in the T segment of our podcast, and tonight's subject is love in the time of Corona, and we're just talking about like our relationship right now. So we talked about what's difficult. What's been fun for you while we've been quarantining together?
Just the fact that you don't go nowhere. No, I'm kidding. For the fact that the fact that we have had to really, I love growth through conflict, and having hard conversations is a pastime of mine. As if you follow me on anywhere in which I have any kind of conversation, you understand that to be the truth. So the amount of difficult conversations that we have had has been really fun for me. So literally, like, working through the difficulty has been fun. Definitely the sex, absolutely, and all its variants and variety. I think that we have unpacked the hell out of some shows that don't even require half of the unpacking that we've given it. That's been really fun. Like we watched, we binged the Tinkerbell series. That was really fun.
Oh yeah, the Tinkerbell movie.
Yeah, and we like unpacked almost every scene as though it was like the apocrypha or something. Like we were like, oh, word, because fairies, because y'all know, like, we understand the reality of fairies and different things. Like that.
It was weird. Like we had been together for it, and like this was like a week or two ago, and a friend of ours had posted something online. Shout out to Jade. And Jade was like, oh yeah, like what like movie should I watch? Like I just watched Soul. And I was like, oh, the Tinkerbell movies are really great. Like if you like Disney movies. And then I started talking about the Tinkerbell movies as if they had seen them. I'm like, wait, we've been there for 4 years and you haven't seen any of the Tinkerbell movies?
Not even the first one.
So that was one of the things we did. I'm gonna have to edit all this coughing out. Jesus Christ. Cecilia has a question. You want to read that?
Yes. Have you seen any correlations between anti-maskers and raw dogs? I'm sorry. Cecilia, thank you so much for coming. You know you're my favorite. My biggest COVID challenge in dating is if they don't like wearing a mask, I get suspicious of their sexual health.
Well, I'll say this. The anti-maskers, the people that don't have cases on their phone, probably like the raw sex. It's safe to assume your intuition is probably right as a woman. You're probably right. If they're not wearing a mask, they definitely gonna try to fuck you out of a condom.
I agree.
That's just par for the course.
Now,
we're not out here slinging it,
right?
So we don't. I don't know.
I would personally say that there can be nuances in which a person that is an anti-masker wouldn't like be against wearing a condom or would think differently, because there are certain anti-maskers that think COVID isn't real, right? So it's like these people, so a lot of these same people who think COVID isn't real know that syphilis is very real, and know that gonorrhea is real. You know what I'm saying? So they might still wrap it up in that regard, but they just wouldn't wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? In this situation. But it is absolutely safe to assume that if a person wouldn't wear a mask, knowing full well that corona is real, if they're trying to say like, oh, you know, corona, like, oh, surgical masks are what, like 92% effective against da-da-da-da. That's just like a condom, which is only 99.8% effective of da-da-da-da. So fuck the condom, you know? And then at the end of the day,
I feel like I saw a TikTok with someone saying that.
I'm sure. But at the end of the day, raw sex is the best sex. Everyone knows this, but if you messing with a person who's ignorant enough, I thought
marry holy sex was the best sex.
Actually, hedonistic debaucherous sex is the best sex, but we'll talk about that later. The thing is if a person is dense enough to not want to protect themselves with a mask during these times, then 9 times out of 10, even if they got their COVID test as negative, they wouldn't want to even protect themselves from the common cold with you. You know what I'm saying? Enough to wear a condom. So like the fact that you're even thinking of entertaining anti-maskers, I feel like you asked that question for our benefit, Cecilia, because like, girl, don't entertain them, because you like, what conversation are y'all having?
I mean, our threesome life has suffered because of that very, very notion. And it's like, because I'm just like, they would have to just stay here if that's like going to be the case, you know, like pod. I'm not playing no games with the COVID. Mm-hmm. So before we move on from this section, the next section is going to be great. But this is a fundraiser, y'all. We're trying to help our brother out. So make sure you check out that GoFundMe. You can go to tinyurl.com/Iman Top Surgery, and you can donate. Every little bit helps. They're halfway there. Like help them get it. Help, like, you know, make the dream come true. We can do it for each other. We don't need white people's help. Like,
Yeah.
we can support and help each other grow and become our best selves, or like with ourselves. Yeah. I'm ready. I'm so excited about this next section.
Yeah.
Let me just I'm already laughing.
Lord have mercy. Hey. Twerk that.
This is our key. It's funny.
Because it's true.
Because it's true. Okay.
100% facts.
So our key for this week is why we think Kanye didn't work. So Kim, like, you wanna talk about this? You wanna intro this section?
So Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's marriage lasted far longer than anyone expected, and by no means were they the perfect couple or relationship goals. Right? It was a very public, and here's we think why we think they might things might have went left as a double air sign relationship. Like, the thing that I always say is, like, you gotta have a lot of like earth around you if y'all gonna be like a double air sign together. And then my issue really is that they're double doubles, in that like Gemini has this dual nature and Libra has this dual aspect. And if there's certain things not understood, or at least not united on between them, it's going to be this constant, like, one person chasing the other and then the other person chasing the other. It's like there'll never be any actual stasis or balance.
Yeah, like,
they say they're compatible, Gemini and Libra.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I was actually about to say, like, Gemini and Libra are actually to some argument, you know, give me one, like, to some argument, the two most compatible signs in like the zodiac. Like, they complement each other very well when both signs are like fully actualized and like aware in their sign and are being their best selves. Like, it's a fucking monster. Like, imagine like if like Kanye West wasn't a piece of crap and Kim Kardashian like wasn't like insufferable, like what they could actually be. Because they're both like very talented like people in their own right.
If this documentary is real, I'm just waiting for the documentary to see who's who and who did what. Personally, but I know that the Zodiac folk say that, but I disagree. You know, I mean, like, yeah, powerhouse, more so in my mind in terms of like business. You know what I'm saying? Like a Gemini and a Libra who really like unite on a business model are going to get the thing done, and it's going to be amazing, and everyone's going to be happy. Like they could be the first non-colonial business out in this bitch if they, you know what I'm saying, if they were like, we are going to make an actual business that gets, that gets, accredited and all of that shit without being colonial. Boom. A Gemini and a Libra could get it the fuck done. Oh my God. But love, unless you treat it in a kind of like what y'all would consider, which is weird, an Aquarian way where like emotions are secondary, where it's like, okay, wait, let's get the understanding of our emotions together from this clinical and scientific and mathematical place, and then let's feel our feelings. You know what I'm saying? Then like they could actually, then a relationship could work, but that's not any of them. When y'all see this chart,
well, yeah. So we are into like the magics and the spirituals and the astrologicals and the whatnot around here and under the Anukai tree. So we looked up there. Of course.
When y'all see these moons,
of course, we had to look up their birth charts to get at what was really, really going on. So some of y'all out there can like see this. So Kanye's is a little inaccurate because the site, like, this was actually just cuter, but this one doesn't have, they didn't have his time of birth on this particular website. So his, rising isn't there, but he's a Cancer rising.
Which, Lord have mercy.
Have mercy, but it explains so much.
And with that moon.
So yeah, let's get into their big three. So for people, it's the pick of Iman said that Kim K pick is it for me. Yeah, like Kim Ye, they're one. They nailed it Well, they're trying to like deborg. I don't know if that's even possible. But anyway, so for our astrology people out there, let's give them the big three. So you want to take Kim? I'll take Kanye.
Sure. So Kim is a Libra with a Pisces moon and a Sagittarius rising or ascendant, depending on which school of thought you come from. Are we just listening to them? Okay.
Okay, and Kanye is a Gemini's sun. He is a Pisces moon also, and a Cancer rising.
Girl.
Now,
Girl.
we also did a synastry chart. Like that's when basically like you lay two people's like a composite chart. You lay two people's natal charts on top of each other, and you see like where the shit lines up for the good and the bad and the in between. And they would have been better off as friends, maybe even business partners, than ever getting married. And having as many kids as they did, probably not a good idea.
Who said it?
Probably not a good idea. Yes, 2 Pisces moons. Both of them are Pisces moons, and we're going to get to that.
Iman.
Don't come for the Cancer rising, Iman said.
It's not about having a Cancer rising. It's about being a Gemini with a Cancer rising. And then on top
and
of
Iman
that,
said that's why she's always crying.
Word. And then on top of that, your moon is in Pisces. Iman, imagine if you had a moon in Pisces.
Imagine.
You would hate yourself. Your current self would be all the way upset with yourself all the time.
But yeah. But basically, because they do have the same moon sign, they do understand how they both think. They get like how they arrived at that. Too bad the rest of that shit is surrounded by fucking crazy and like indecision.
Because like understanding how a person arrived at it, but not being able to relate because y'all refuse, it's almost a refusal of relation.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I will say Libras like do that a lot, you know what I'm saying, in their pursuit of like being the devil's advocate or in their pursuit of like being the person trying to bring the other perspective into the room to create whatever harmonious environment they're trying to create.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't do me.
But I'm pretty sure because of Kanye's Big Three setup, his contrarianness was on 7 million. I'm sure of it. Like again, I can't wait to see if this documentary is real. I can't wait to see it because I need to see.
Oh yeah, so allegedly, like there's a story floating around that Kanye West has been like documenting his life for the past 20 years, and Netflix bought the rights.
30 mil.
$30 million. So we're gonna see it soon. Also this week, Kim Kardashian made the Forbes list as a billionaire. And I will say this because, you know, Kanye, Gemini, Pisces moon, Cancer. I don't recall them having a prenup. If they don't, he coming for that alimony.
Oh, for sure.
He probably won't get it because like he's not gonna like be a custodial parent. Like he's not gonna do that. I know he's not gonna want to do that. Yes, but like I was like, he about to come for your coin, girl. Like why? And the thing is, it could have been like it really could have been great.
I can't imagine Chris let Kim get married without a prenup, though.
Me neither. But they were in love. They were really in love, and like it's a lot of like passion. I bet they have like great conversation.
He put a fist in her like a civil rights sign.
But like his madness really be for no reason because Kanye do not be thinking that shit through. He just like, oh, that's what I feel like. Gotta say it. And I don't care if you like say it or not. And now this whole like religion thing. And like I feel like if Kanye had kept to his end of the deal of being like the superstar rapper, music, fashion mogul track that he was supposed to stay on,
yeah, Kim
would have been fine. Cause like she's doing what she held up her end of the bargain. Like she stopped being like an insta hoe, classed it up, you know, went back to schools, trying to be a lawyer, social justice. And now this nigga wants to be a gospel artist. Like, what? No, like, what are you doing? You're a Republican? What? And I know that's what she's thinking. Like, what?
But she
You left me alone with these kids during a pandemic. What?
Right. Look. Look. Kanye is a prophet.
Kiki said Chris is a businesswoman, though.
Exactly.
She got a prenup.
She got a prenup. Thank you. Chris is not letting these girls go out there. Chris is like, y'all are going to be the breadwinners, period. It sure do.
Kanye is not a billionaire.
He's close.
Kanye got a lot of debt. Kanye owes a lot of people money.
He does, but he's close. If
you're just joining us, our topic for tonight is love in the time of Corona. This is a New Country podcast. Make sure you check us out on anchor.fm/NewKai. You can listen to our podcast there. It's also available wherever podcasts are streaming. Make sure you check us out on IG. And if you're listening to us on, whatever streaming platform, check us out on Facebook every Wednesday at 8 at facebook.com/newcountry. What did I say? Iman said Kanye was checked out for a while, though.
True.
Yeah, after he lost his mother.
Died. Yeah, I was about to say, after his mother died, he had lost his mind, He lost his support system, too.
And
his motivation. It's, him
and Jigga fell out.
Yeah.
And then now all he got is this bitch and these white people to try to relate to, and all this stuff is going on in the country, and you sitting there with Kris Jenner trying to talk about Black Lives Matter, and I'm pretty sure he was already bipolar, was already under a lot of mental strain, and just being in that environment exacerbated it. You're a new father. None of your men's fuck with you right now. Kanye got all new men's. Because that's why he's out in Wyoming, because nobody in LA fucks with him anymore. We saw the Charlamagne interview.
Right.
There was nothing behind those eyes. Mm-hmm. But, I
do know one thing. Kim having a Pisces moon gives her a level of, understanding of her own emotions that makes, her able to not play the devil's advocate a lot easier than a lot of Libras, I will say, in that I would consider Kim a little bit easier to trust than a lot of Libras tend to be. But then that Sagittarius rising comes out from the depths, right? And if y'all know Sagittarians, they love a double life. If you could Sagittarian and Trinidadian, right? Families. Okay. Families.
Can you more knows?
Okay. Families in multiple hoods, all right? Holes in area codes. Okay. That you know nothing about. That they are authentically living in this one life as though it's their only life until they hop on that plane and go to this life over here. So and Kanye has always had some real severe trust issues. And if Kim showed her, if Kim showed him twice that she's not to be trusted, then it was over since then.
Mm-hmm. We'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe in the documentary we might find out. We could know.
I really need this documentary to be real, y'all. I need it in my life.
And us as double air signs, we both have Earth in our big three, in our rising moon, sun.
The same sign too.
Right. Virgo. Yeah.
But moon and rising.
So we don't get into this whirlwind space. There's always it sometimes it gets there, but then it's wait a minute.
What's the reality
of this?
And if we're going to be lofty, is this thing already manifested in manifesting stage, or how do we manifest this lofty thing? In water, with 2 water signs in your big three and a water sign and a fire sign in your big three, not together. If they got together on a business situation, then fine. But building a full unit, anyway, we'll move on because I can actually answer a question in the next segment that has to do with what I'm about to say.
Yeah, so crazy. every time I look at it, I'm just like, wow. And our last segment for the night is keeping it real.
Facts, no printer.
All facts, no printer. And in this section tonight, we're gonna have our relationship Q&A. So like, get your questions ready. You can ask us some questions like in the comments. If you want to come on, right now I am going to copy the link for the StreamYard and post it in the comments. You can click on the link. If you want to come in, we're going to keep you in the queue. We'll take a few people on that want to ask us questions one-on-one. Just make sure your camera is in landscape, so like we can see like all of your beautiful face. And if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine too. We'll have the audio on our podcast.
Landscape. Portrait. Landscape is right.
Okay, there we go. All right, so while we're waiting...
So yeah, I asked this first question that we have from the previous collection while we wait for people to ask questions. And the first one is, what makes a good, healthy relationship? And there's this thing that I heard about some 3 C's. I can't remember all 3 of them. I remember 2 of them, and then I guess can split the last one that I don't remember into 2 other letters. But commitment. That's what it was. It was commitment, consistency, and consideration, right? For me, consideration is like super important, right? And consideration goes beyond just like going to the store and being like, okay, like, yeah, I know, we don't have no snacks in the house. I'm in the store about to get whatever I'm getting. Maybe I should get Bae's favorite snack. Absolutely do that. Do that on a regular basis. Do that all the time.
He does.
Can you take that away? Because it's gonna block my face if I sit naturally.
What happened?
Move the Q&A thing. Because it's gonna block my face.
Oh,
otherwise, yeah. Like, see, face block.
Okay.
So
y'all know what
we doing, and look, it's right there on the bottom in a bubble. But besides that, it's also like being considerate of how your energy works and how your partner's energy works. Is being considerate of all things. You have to know a person to be considerate of them, right? You can't just think, oh, I'm going to endure in this consideration. Like, consideration includes being observant enough to pick up, cues that don't have to be spoken. Consideration is paying attention enough to be like, okay, I have no idea what that means. And then asking a question and be like, yo, what does that mean? Right. And then following suit with what it is that you can do to like fix the problem, help an issue, get out the way. Like, whatever it is that you got to do, So in my opinion, consideration is tops, and communication is literally like, you don't consider a person if you don't want to communicate with them anyway. You don't consider them. So, yeah, to me, that's the answer to that. We got anything for that one?
No. I think that was really good.
Okay. Do we got any questions yet?
Not quite yet, but remember, y'all can ask us questions in the chat. The stream key is in. Oh yeah, I should. I'm not on looking at it on Facebook. But you guys can use that stream link if you want to come on the live with us and ask your question. You can ask us anything. It doesn't have to be about our relationship specifically. It can be about relationships in general, or anything. Like if you have questions from like the earlier segment that you didn't get to ask, feel free. But we have some more questions. We did like a little. Chip Jack did a little short live the other day, so we have some questions from people on Facebook. So while we're waiting.
So this is also a good question. Does love distract you from your goals? It's a really good question.
That is a good question. I would say no. Like, personally, no. It does not like distract me from my goals. It makes me like want like achieve them more, and like it gives me like new goals, and it also like helps me stay focused and more of a reason to like achieve the things that I already had like planned for myself, and also grow those plans because now I have someone else to like include and like develop those plans with. Like, like we have our own separate dreams. We have like our dreams together. We have goals for like our unit as a couple. And we have goals for like our own lives, like individually. And like literally like support each other in those goals in any way like that we can.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would add that it absolutely can. I would say personally, if certain things are not like in line, you know what I'm saying, with the unit, then my motivation in general is low. So it's not like it's directly affecting my goals. It just, the goals are swept up in literally everything, you know? And I will say sometimes like the need to be around your partner, if you've got to do something that requires like either them join you, you know what I'm saying, in doing that thing, or them being in a different room or in a different space in other regards, that can make it hard, you know, because like being in the studio, knowing that it's like, okay, I'm in the studio and Bae like really wishes we could cuddle right now, and so do I, is, you know, taxing to some degree, because it's like you want to hurry up and then you got to like actually just make yourself do the thing, because you know that if you don't do the thing, then resentment builds. So you have to center your goals in a way that make sure you know that without centering those goals, the unit will be weaker, because resentment is like poison. It's like the worst kind of miasma in some shit. So you have to center your goals, right? This does not mean center individualism. Thank you, Kiki, for coming. This does not mean center individualism. This does not mean center yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Centering your goals is centering the unit. Centering your goals, because 9 times out of 10, your goals are going to do what? Garner income, make you happy, and if you're happy, then guess what? There's happiness happening in the room and in the house. And if your partner loves you, your happiness is making them happy and hopefully inspiring them to continue to achieve their goals, which will, once they've achieved that, boom, happiness abounding in the house, right? It's still centering the unit, right? So yeah, you can't let your relationship like stop you from doing your goals. And if there's anything going on, if anything your partner is doing or anything that you're even doing, you won't change it unless you bring it up. If it's you that's not doing it, that's like being like, oh, like I want to just be up under Bae, right? And it'd be like, okay, I need to fucking go do what I need to do, right? Or if it's like, yeah, like I don't know, like this is not going right, so I'm feeling a little depressed or blah blah blah. You're not going to just like pick yourself up and go do it. You're in a unit.
And as a partner, you want to motivate your partner. Like there'll be times like I try not to be pushy, because there's a difference between like trying to motivate and encourage someone and being pushy. You gotta know what that line is, and like y'all can communicate without like about like boundaries, like regarding like things like that. But it's like, hey, like shouldn't you be like, well, yeah, no, I have a bad way of saying that, but I would be like, hey, shouldn't you be working on that song? Which is not a good. Don't say it like that. Like don't do that. Be like,
not with me.
Like. Like how's that song that you were working on going, and that will remind him like, oh shit, yeah, I should like be working on that.
Mm-hmm.
And but we also have skills. One thing that helps with that in particular is that we do have like skills that like support each other. Like I know how to do like a lot of graphic like design stuff and a lot of like video editing and sort of just like visual art and presentation stuff, which like supports like their artistry as a musician and like a producer and things like that. And they help me a lot out with music and like vocals and technique and things like that support like my artistry in a different way. But even if y'all are in like completely different fields, there's always space for that you never know. Like I'm really organized. Like I know how to put things together and get things in the space. They're really detailed. Like, oh wait, something is missing. Where I may not notice that like something is gone, but I know where everything is like supposed to be and how to get it where it needs to be. And like those are things that you can use to like support each other like in your goals, like individually and otherwise.
And honestly, yeah, you have to be each other's fans, and you got to be each other's number one fan. If you're not a fan, then like, yeah. But it seems like it's important that you find a partner. Yeah, like it has to be a partner, and I mean, it could not be important for you to find a partner. You could be the kind of bitch that's like, I don't need fucking nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And more power to you. And there's plenty of those people out there. You know what I'm saying? My mother is very much that woman where like, yeah, she likes people, but she don't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a goal that she's going to achieve, she's going to achieve it by herself. And, you know, to some degree, she would rather not have anybody in her house, you know, and it is what it is. She don't need nobody. Do I think there are things that she could benefit from having a partner? Absolutely. I'm sure she sees those things too. Are those things more important than the things that she needs and requires for herself? No, never, never, ever. Right. And that's really for everybody. You know, that's the part. You've got to be able to stand and be like, this is what I require for my survival, regardless of your presence. Right. In a relationship. That's very important.
And be okay with voicing that. No shame in that.
You've got to voice it.
We have more questions here. Don't forget to, like, you guys can ask us questions.
You guys can come on the show.
You can come on the show. I'll put the link in the thingy. So if you see the link and you want to come up and ask a question, you can do that. We have some questions already from the people out there in Facebook land, and we're going to keep answering those. Mm-hmm. But if you want to ask us a question in the comments, like, feel free. Any relationship, like, we've been together for a while. We've been in a few relationships. Don't hold around. Mm-hmm.
People have literally said to me, Jack, if we would have listened to you in the first place, we would still be together and it would be great. There's people who are still together because they listen to me. I'm two-spirited. This is literally my job, actually, and like energetically and historically and traditionally. As a two-spirit, we do this relationship shit, period. We like, nope, this connection thing ain't working, especially if the vibrations are on opposite ends of the spectrum, gender, energetically. So, yeah. Can love be faked? This is a deep-ass question.
Can love be faked?
No.
I would say no.
No.
Can
you make somebody believe you love them and that not be true? Yes.
Like, depending on your degree and like ability to manipulate someone, like, of course you could do that. That makes you fucked up.
OD.
But like, a lot of times it's not like that the person, I'll say this, hurt people. And I know that sounds cliche, but like, a lot of times we're working from places of trauma in our own body that we may not even be aware of. And things manifest in a lot of different ways. So like, I'm not crying because I'm emotional. I have got lashes in my eye.
She a Pisces at heart.
I'm a Libra. I have no emotions. Nah. Mm-hmm. But for real though, it's like, cheating is a bad example, but I'm gonna go with cheating. Like we talked about Derek Jackson a couple weeks ago. I mentioned Martell Holt earlier. Some men cheat because they believe that's what men are supposed to do. Like, men are supposed to be like beings of conquest. So like, the more women you have, like, the higher like your status, and don't attribute that to like a lack of love. But like, cheating in and of itself is a violation of a contract. Y'all agreed to be monogamous and you broke that contract. So now like, we are in like dysfunction.
Oh yeah, I agreed to whatever and you did the opposite of the agreement.
Right.
So it's, yeah.
And that may not mean they have like specific malintent to purposely like break your heart, but they're like functioning in like a place of like ignorance or just like deception because like they feel like they either don't want to or feel like they can't tell you the truth.
Like, okay, so it's like, so essentially the question that Pat is answering is like, can you hurt someone and love them authentically? Yes. Right. But no, love can't be faked. Like, no. It's not like when, I guess when you experience true love, it's like you really feel it in a way that all imitations like become clearly imitations, you know? Like, if you've had Godiva, nobody can tell you that anything that's not Godiva is Godiva. That's a chocolate brand, unless y'all. I love chocolate. And no, if you put something in front of me from anywhere else and told me that it was Godiva, no, you were not getting away with that. Okay.
Gabby was like, I'm a Libra, I got all the emotions.
Mad emotional, but a lot of times we refuse to be like clear about them. Gabby
also said cheaters tend to be poor communicators.
Period. Because that's like, the whole thing. That's the entire thing. Like, you're only cheating because you either like feel like you like can't communicate what you need, or like because you feel like they don't deserve said communication. Those are the only two things that are possible in that moment. And yeah, because really, There's one thing I communicated what I need, did it ad infinitum. Y'all, you're not paying attention, you're not doing something. You know what I'm saying? I understand why in a situation why a person would be like, damn, I don't want to leave them. Like, really, that's not what I want, but I really just need this thing, right? That's like, some people might, you know what I'm saying? Some people might justify it by making it akin to that. There was this one meme where this guy was talking about how he used to sneak whole pizzas after his wife would go to bed.
Oh,
because
yeah.
she was on a particular diet and he would go and she wanted to support him, so he would go sneak whole pizzas. To me, there's violation in that. I would much rather you say, boo, love you, when we eat dinner
Wait,
together.
he was supposed to be on the diet? The husband was supposed to be?
And he was supporting her by being on the diet with her. She never asked him to do that.
Okay.
Or he never said that she asked him to do that.
But he would go eat pizzas in the dark when she was asleep. Yeah, that's also a violation.
That's a violation.
Akin to cheating.
Right? So, but people think that that's like a thing that's not that serious. It's like, okay, well, you are not, like, you don't care about my needs enough to do something about it, or you don't find those needs important enough. I'm going to make sure that shit is done myself. And since you don't find them important enough anyway, or don't want me to have them, or whatever it is that's your problem with my need, I'm not going to say anything about it. And as long as you don't know, everything is fine. Mm-hmm. When literally, like, everything's different the second you do it. Like, you have, like, the sense, like, everything is different the second you do it. So, like, stop, like, no, just say, babe, during
and they
dinner,
may not
we
find
will
out.
eat salad, you know what I'm saying, together. But I gotta have my junk food every now and then, and it just gotta be what it is. And I'll do it not in front of you, and that's fine.
And I'll say this on the cheating: monogamy ain't for everybody. If it ain't for you, you just gotta be honest. You gotta be honest, and you gotta be honest about, like, who you with. And if they don't like it, then they not for you. And then, you know, just move on. Move on. There's like 7 billion people on this planet. Like, you will find somebody that'd be like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And if you want monogamy from your partners but want to be free to do other things,
there's setups for that.
There's somebody that's willing to do that too.
There's setups for that. Be honest. Just be honest. Just be honest. Because, like, okay, we have our little, like, our poly thing, right? But if we're gonna be honest, right, that's what we're supposed to do. And we're gonna wrap it up. But if we're gonna be honest, there'll be no need for polyness if our libidos were the same. For me, right? But the fact that they're not means that now needs have to be met. So we now rediscuss what's going on, renegotiate the contract. Hey, does polyness seem feasible? It does. Awesome. How do we do this so that everyone in this relationship is honored, and we're not also dishonoring whatever third comes in?
We have a question. Well, I think that kind of answered this question.
Yeah, we just answered it. I'm monogamous at heart, I guess. Like, I don't want anybody to be with my boo in any regard. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, it's strange. Like, you're very, like, conceptually, like, oh, like, it'll be cool if we have a threesome with this person or do this and that. But you're very, like, with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, sometimes, like, I don't quite get it. Like, I get it, but, like, sometimes, like, I don't.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. If our libidos were the same, right?
Yeah, I get that.
And we both were still, like, some level of poly, then I'd probably be more okay with seeing Pat with other people in any regard, right? But since our libidos are not the same, and we are entering the poly situation essentially to assuage my libido, seeing Pat with anyone else feels like an affront to the fact that this person is only here because of my libido, right? It's like, why are you engaging this other person when you only have energy for sex with me in this particular amount, in this particular quantity, context, etc.? So that's where that comes from. It would be completely different.
What if it wasn't sexual? What if it was just, like, somewhat, like, emotional?
I keep trying to get you to have friends. You can have friends.
Yeah, no. I get that. Well, I have friends.
And to me,
why do you say that like I don't have friends?
I mean, just,
like, come on. And what I'm saying is, like, and this is a scenario, by the way. Like, if there was, like, a third, and that was, like, a sexual person more so for you, but we were like, we had like, I guess like a really like close like friendship or like related very like closely.
If y'all were friends, then that would be fine. If there was if there was something that spake of something more romantic that I was not a part of, there would be a problem.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's understandable.
That's why I said you can have friends. Like you can have friends. They can be your friend. That's not a problem. I need, you need your partner to have people, I'm saying, that they can also rely on outside of you, because there'll be times where you're not there. I'm a whole performer. Hopefully the world opens back up in a safe way where a nigga could go on tour again. I love to tour. Hate not being around Bay during touring season, but love to tour. Okay. If my own shit pop off and Bay doesn't feel like coming along for the ride, I still gotta go. Right? End of the day, hate it. So it's really just that. It's the whole FOMO of the situation too. So it's like if you got somebody that, y'all have this like special thing.
FOMO?
Yeah. Fear of missing out.
Okay. Yeah. Like when you say your little Jackisms, you got
That's not a Jackism.
I've never heard that before.
Oh. Somebody let her know that FOMO is not something that I made up. Yeah, like we like having the fear of missing out is like a whole nother thing. Like, okay, like you guys have to have these conversations with your partner. I'm on tour and there's a third here and y'all are emotionally inclined and I'm out and then y'all having sex without me when again they were here sex really for me, then I come back and there's this whole deeper connection that I'm not a part of. That's a problem. So for me to be on tour, one of y'all motherfuckers have to come with me, or this motherfucker would have to go stay in a hotel across the state or something. Like, it just. Now again, things being equal, had we had literally things the same, which to me is like not actually a relationship. Like certain things, like the libido could be the same, but not everything about a person should match. That's weird. But if we were a matching pair, it might be a little different. That's all. Nuances, and you have to exploit all of them. And what I mean by exploit is like make them big, like expand, like be like this little nuance. Look at it. You think it's not like big, it's big, and each person needs to be able to look at all of the list of things that makes their shit work and makes their emotionality, A plus B equaling C in their emotions. Yeah, it's like you have to like things are the way that they are, and things about you are the way that it is. And we
didn't read the comment. Felicia said I would have had a whole issue with that. I know that's right.
So it's things are the way that they are. There's certain sexual things that are cool with me, certain that are not. Certain emotional things that are cool with me, certain that are not. So have these conversations, and again, both of you guys really zero in on the smallest nuances, because in that is where like actually the magic is. The surface is nobody cares about the surface. We see the surface. Okay. And, yeah.
So before we wrap it, do we have any more questions?
We do. This is a good one to close out on because we just mentioned a bunch of stuff in the that the last question would have asked.
So before you read it, so Felicia said, if everyone was this open, I believe more relationships would last. Communication is key.
Ashe, and amen. Felicia Yarber saying, Felicia saying her freaking whole face off too. Y'all know I just be knowing the singers and the amazing folks. So please look out for music from Felicia in the near future as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so
we're doing our little relationship Q&A, by the way, if you're just joining us.
Yep. And y'all know I gotta plug the black people, especially my black women. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, read that last question.
Do past regrets hold you back in your current relationship? Not me per se. I think that Pat has also worked through stuff where that's not the case right now. Can it? Absolutely. Should it? I don't know if you necessarily have control.
Yeah, like if you were traumatized in your last relationship, that trauma is gonna carry. Like that's why like therapy is very important. Like spiritual like healing and openness is so important. Like they say it takes you like time and a half to get over like however long the relationship was. So if
is
you were
it
together,
time and a half?
Yeah. So if you were together for like 4 years, it would take 6 for you to get like completely like actually over it. And I believe that. Like I do believe that. I do believe that. Like completely. Like I can say like I had a relationship that in my early 20s that now is like I'm just like, oh yeah, that was the past. Yeah. I'm like I don't have any feelings about it. Like all the feelings that I had about it. Like I haven't suppressed. Like I processed them. I've gone through them, evaluated them, talked about them, cried about them, and now it's like, okay, yeah, like that was a part of like the story, like not the story. And I've like not, I guess healed is like a heavy word, but like healed from that relationship and like can look at, okay, I'll say I can look at it objectively now. What I will say is that like when things from previous relationships come up in your current relationship and it's triggering for you, you need to like speak about that and be open about that as quickly as possible. Because if you let it fester, it's going to turn into a poison, and that shit will just like spread like, and you'll be blaming things and suspecting things and feeling things that probably ain't even there. They could be there, and if they are there, then you definitely need to say some shit
right
as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And yeah.
You definitely need to say some shit as soon as possible.
And you got to give it context. You can't just be like, oh, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Like this reminds me. I don't
like that. Right. I don't like that because this, that, and the third does this to me. It reminds me of this, and this. That was triggering and traumatizing because of that, and that. I need y'all. I don't know if I've said it before in the podcast. Use all of your words. I would rather hear you plather on, please.
Use all of your words.
I would rather hear you plather along for 20 minutes about something, especially if it's cohesive. Now, if you're just jumping around, then you're just jumping around. But I would rather you plather along about something for 20 minutes than give me 20 seconds of something that you want me to then unpack somehow. Like, do not be vague about these things. If you feel like your partner feels bothered by your voice, that's a problem. That person needs to be able to sit down and listen to you plather along about what's happening. And if they need to stop you to ask you a question about what it is that's happening, then they have to be like, okay, wait a minute, I need to understand this better. Right. Can you do this, and this? Can you go back and tell this and explain this a little further? And that's that. Okay? Because you've got to use all your words.
I have trouble with this. I have a short attention span, and I also have like trouble finding my words. But like I'm learning like to work through it, and that's a different thing. Like relating back to one of the questions, like about like if love can be fake, you can get a sense if it's genuine if you see a nigga trying. Like I see this nigga try all the time. Like I see them trying. Like you can suspect it ain't real if like y'all going through shit and you don't even see no effort. Like, if you don't see no effort, then, like, Tyler Perry, like, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck. They couldn't.
And there's levels to the love shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, again, like, traumatized people, they come in and they feel, really good about you. And if it's love, you know what I'm saying? It might not be eros. It might be some good old philios. They might even agape you, which agape is supposed to be the biggest and greatest kind of love because it's that unconditional, like, love of, all things, right? But in a relationship, you want that eros. You know what I'm saying? Could you break that down real quick? You don't have a lot of time to say it. So, there's 4 of them. The 4 different Greek words for love, and I can't think of one of them, but 3 of the ones that people are most familiar with are agape, which is that unconditional love, the Jesus kind of love, right?
God's love.
Exactly. Philios, which is that brotherly love, that love that you have for another person that you care for in that family or really good friend sense. And then you have Eros, which is that Valentine's Day kind of love, which is that like, I'm trying to have your baby. It's you the rest of your life, or it's y'all if you're poly. You know what I'm saying?
Is the last one pathos, or am I making that up?
Pathos doesn't sound like love. Pathos sounds like something else. But you might be right. I'm not sure. I can't say because that fourth one eludes me right now.
Gabby said, "Come on, biblical Greek." Yeah.
But you should come to you gotta come because we about it. We unpack all the shits. But yeah, at the end of the day, like when in a relationship, you gotta have that eros, right? That's the part with the passion. That's the part that like, you know, like sometimes you just want to come in after a date and, you know, have the door closed by your body being pushed up against the door. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that eros, the thing that drives a person to like devour you. You know, the thing that drives a person to consume you, the thing that drives a person to just want to like be inside you. Literally, that's that eros thing that you need in a relationship. So, I feel like when you separate them, can you again authentically make someone who is unfamiliar with them believe that you are giving them any of those three things? Absolutely. But are you actually effectively faking love? No.
Okay, so Cecilia said, I went through the whole trouble to explain I don't like something an emotionally abusive ex used to do. Nigga told me I'm not walking on eggshells. In cases like this, how can we avoid matching energy, aka being petty?
Leave.
Wait, leave the relationship or leave the room? Like
the relationship.
Okay, wait. Nigga said I'm not walking on eggshells. Well, it depends on. Okay, like.
Nope, it don't.
Well,
whatever it is, because if they don't care about your emotions enough to take that response, and a lot of men, males, and otherwise masculine identified individuals feel this thing. Oh, you know, again, you tell them a joke. You say that, hey, that joke hurts my feelings. Exactly. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's this meme that was going around. That's like, you tell a man that joke hurts your feelings, and they say, oh, well, I won't make any jokes anymore then. It's the same thing. Like, it's that like kind of gaslighty fucking like show that they don't give a fuck about your emotions, that whatever it is that they're doing is more important than how it affects you. He gotta go. He has to go. And you can give it as much time as you can give it. And you can give it as much time as you can give it. But when the time comes for him to go, he's gotta go. Because I'm absolutely the one that will join you, that will do that petty thing. I like petty enough to give you some time in petty so that you can fucking see the error of your ways, because sometimes people don't know that they care about you until they see how they're hurting you. Sometimes they literally cannot like connect what it is that they're doing to pain because of how it is that they perceive what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And that level of kind of selfish, like, introspection in the way that anyone else could perceive what I'm doing as, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. That's a masculine staple, right? Where they think that the way that they see things is the only way it can be perceived.
Now, the cishet, they're not all bad.
It's not it's not just cisheads.
Yeah. The mask.
There's women identified people who are also masculine identified who do the shit.
True. Naima said, and the truth is, too many folks are not emotionally developed enough to parse the distance between these kinds of gaps.
Right. Mm. True. True.
Got to go.
He can't yet shake his tambourine, period. He does not and to be honest, we've come up against this in our relationship where I've said, hey, this thing persists, right? And this is not cool that it persists. And Pat's response has been, okay, well, I just won't do anything anymore. And I've said, that is gaslighting. Listen to what I'm saying, right? This is what is persisting. And if it continues to persist and your answer is to not find a better way to do whatever the point of what that action is, right? Then what you're saying to me is that you care more about that action than you care about my emotions. And you've got to put it in those contexts. If they don't accept those contexts, gots to go.
Now, I'm not saying the man not gonna fight you down, but really, it's about like when you're hurting someone you love, you can't be defensive about it. Like you just gotta accept, like, hey, this is what you're doing. Like they wouldn't make the shit up, and like knowing them, they wouldn't have said anything if it like wasn't the truth. So it's like taking yourself out of the center and just being like, okay, I fucked up. I got to do something different.
And the truth of the matter is, you should never be in the center. Unit center.
Now, you said it's also immature.
Oh, absolutely. Unit center or nothing. Unit center or it won't last. Right? This is what a unit looks like. And this is not saying that we represent a unit, but this is the unit, right? I'm on one side, Pat is on another side. We are intertwined in the middle in a way where enough of me is on Pat's side to understand what's happening. Enough of Pat is on my side to understand what's happening. And there's things blending in a way that if you pull back enough, you won't necessarily be able to discern the difference between each other's hand. Okay. That's a unit. If that thing in the center is not literally centered, if the shit is over here, that's what? An imbalance. If the shit is over here, that's what? An imbalance, right? It's got to hit center or nothing. Unit centered every time.
Unit centered.
Every time. It's got to make the Venn diagram, right? It's got to connect. It's got to intertwine, or else there is no unit, and it will not last. Or else this unit is based in servitude, and that will not last. Yeah, you and your partner are going to serve each other, but you got to be serving each other, right? Like a dom-sub relationship, like if a person is dom and another person is sub, and that's the situation, the truth of the matter is the sub is the one in control. Everyone likes to understand the dom as the one in control because the dom is the one not tied up. The dom is the one doing the spanking. The dom tends to be the top, right? But the sub is the one in control because if you do some shit that the sub has not agreed to, it's over. The thing stops until we understand what needs to happen. If you're a dom that spanks, that means that you came to the situation with ointment, with ice, with all the things necessary, with gauze or whatever, all the things necessary to be able to spank the fuck out of this motherfucker and do aftercare. You are in charge of the aftercare as a dom. So who is really in charge? The person that is the sub, right? So that is what makes that relationship symbiotic, right? That's what makes that relationship actually still unit centered, okay? Because this person is presenting the authority while this other person has authority. Do you understand? And that gives them a level of equity and equality that makes them still unit centered no matter how it looks to anybody else, okay? So its equitability is going to be the thing that keeps it centered. Not this idea that everybody gets the same thing, but understanding that, yeah, if you making 70% more of the money, you might need to be putting a little bit more in the bills, right? You can't make a person that's not making any money be equal on the bills, right? That's ridiculous. You can't make a person that has no energy at all or is sick, right? That you've said, okay, yeah, I'm going to be with you. You're sick and like really sick, you know what I'm saying? And we're together through your sickness. You can't make this sick person do shit in the house. You know what I'm saying? And the moment you feel like you're getting less than what you bargained for, not something I'm saying you shouldn't have been in that sick situation in the first place, right? But the moment you feel like you're getting less than what you bargained for, new negotiation opens up. And if the other party can do nothing to come to meet you where your new center is at, what's supposed to happen?
Bye, 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 and wait, I can't sing that.
Homophobia rumors, meta artist.
Oh, in case y'all were wondering, Cecilia said, what happened to old boy? Cecilia said, I took him to this gaslighting 101 school. Let's see, because the weed free, but I'll take the hit to save my brain.
I can't.
Good.
For real.
I mean, at least you get something out of the deal, but still, it's not worth it. Really not.
That's trade, girl. And trade is so 2015. But yeah, that's it. We did this question a million times.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's it. Thank y'all so much for sitting with us under the Anukai tree. It has been amazing talking to y'all. Make sure that y'all go to all of the platforms, like, love this post, share this post, hashtag share when you shared it. Okay. And tell the people what you think. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that notifications bell so you can get the ding when we put up some new content, which will most likely be this. And yeah, follow us on go to Anchor FM to check us out. And don't forget to donate to Tiny URL Iman Top Surgery so that we can get him chopped.
It's been great. Yeah, make sure you follow us everywhere. And again, check us out next week, Wednesday. We're going to have a really special guest. It's going to be a really great show next week. So make sure you guys come sit with us next week. It's been real. Thank y'all. Fight the world. Woo. Hey.